Hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. We're going to end our series talking about random tables and random inspiration and the tool that I think is very useful in our tabletop role-playing experiences. And we're going to take a look at Blades in the Dark. Blades in the Dark and many role-playing games have random features in them. And oftentimes, random tables are maligned because they're seen to be a tool that is used improperly. We're going to take a look at Blades in the Dark as far as its randomization and look at it because this tool reinforces the themes, the setting, the mood, the environment that is created in this game. And many games that have randomized features aren't just about coming up with random gonzo do not apply results. Instead, very well designed random tables and random features, not just random features, but as I said before, a random table are just basically bullet points that just happen to be numbered. That it also does the exact same thing in terms of giving prompts, literally labeled as props and features and items and things to reinforce the flavor of the game. And for those kind of random tables that are designed for the implementation of that setting, they're excellent. But first, let's get an intro, and then we'll dive deeper into how Blades in the Dark does it. Excellently written. We've talked about Blades in the Dark on this channel, and many other channels have done so. So yeah, great thing. First, intro. All right, let's load up on our mind fuel here and talk about Blades in the Dark. For those who are unfamiliar, Blades in the Dark takes place in a fictional neo-victorian realm of criminality and heists, and I had to stop myself because I was going to do some descriptions about what this setting is, and we actually have ourselves our random tables which come in the middle, and then on the borders, both to the far left and far right, we also have our prompts that tell us what this location, what this game world is supposed to feel like. Yeah, yeah, and see that's I think where the horrible part came from. Yeah, random tables, trolls in one room, Umber Hulks in the next. Just go through the alphabet, and uh, understand that many times that was the end result, right? A random table that had no context to its use, and then it just had a bunch of alphabetized monsters in it, and it made no reference to how those monsters got there, why they were there, and context matters, and that means using the proper tool for what you want. Don't just fold your arms, pout the lip, and go, "This is stupid." All of us have our own creative sparks and creative juices, and so we're going to do this. And I also thought that it would be kind of cool. Don't know exactly how well this is going to work, but I also thought it would be kind of cool to include a document here, and then we can add in on it and see if this works the way it should work. All right, so Blades in the Dark, we're on page, I've got the physical copy. I forgot I didn't have the digital one, so apologize for that. But back here, let's see. You know what? I'll do it like this. Just to show this off just a little bit. Got my D6s here. And if we could take a deeper look at this, on page 300 to the very left, it's titled Props. And when we go down the props, there are words, and then there's a break line, words, break line, words, break line. And you get the impression that the block of words all fit together. So if we go to the first, second, third grouping of block lines, it says sewer grate, rotting refuse, mud puddles, discarded junk, carrion and crows, sodden trash. And they are all thematically linked together. And these one, two, maybe, are there 3 words? No. One or 2 word prompts is just the shortest amount of information to bring about the largest amount of flavor text. So we can go into a doc, start putting, like I said, these are like bullet points. We can start putting that stuff down. Matter of fact, I'll even keep it in there. Sewer. Oh, there. Sewer grates. Nah, we're gonna have to put these in a long list because you won't be able to see them. How about rotting refuse? We've got ourselves mud puddles, and even this stuff. The words bring about what this place feels like. Like, for example, you've got sewer grates and mud puddles. That means it probably rained before. It's most likely raining now, and it's going to rain in the future. And that nasty water's got to go somewhere. Rotting refuse means there's things rotting in the streets, and people don't care to even clean it up because it's been there long enough. This discarded junk. People maybe throwing. You get the idea of people maybe throwing trash out. Carrion and crows. So they're eating dead flesh. Sodden trash. So cool, right? And again, these are just oops. After having written those down, type those out. These are just prompts. We could even stop right there. And the reason for having this information is because we don't want to keep repeating the exact same descriptors over and over and over again to describe something. When we have a theme, let me bring up the accursed desert again, right? That's one of my go-tos for fantasy. It's like, this is the accursed desert. Yet again, it pops his head up. And I don't want to keep describing the same sand dunes. I don't want to keep describing the same, sun beating down on you and you feel dehydrated and whatnot. I need to vary my accursed desert enough to keep it interesting for the players. So maybe there's a part of the accursed desert that's more like scrublands. Maybe there's another part that's more like salt flats. Maybe there's another part that's about broken land that's been carved by high winds, and there's tall mesas and pillars and plateaus or something. And I normally wouldn't have that, or the players make a left turn and go somewhere, and I need to come up with a quick description. That's what this is for. So to the very right of this Blades in the Dark, page 301. To the left, we have props, and then to the right, they talk about items. And again, these items listings, they're not numbered, but they are broken up into chunks, right? It's related items, a break line, a couple more related items. Hey, heathen, so on and so forth. And under items, these are basically things you may find in various locations. Let's go to our very one bottom, right above the page number 301. It says exam chair, medical tools, burner, vials, beakers, workbench, tools, rags, weapons, ammunition. And you get the idea, like, when you hear exam chair and medical tools, and you combine that with like a neo-victorian era, you get like the old uh, very early medical, like dentistry and stuff. And some people hate like the idea of messing with teeth in general. Like it's a horror story kind of thing. Yeah, you get that. What's another chunk? Let's go to the very top. Chalkboard, desks, papers, maps, chairs, diagrams, books, scrolls, bookshelves, lamp, inkwell, writing desk, clock, cabinet, shelves, table, chairs, notebooks. And you can use one or a bunch of them, or write these down in your notes as to what do they find in a random room, or maybe they're going into someone's into a building. What do they find? Players, they love to search around, and these prompts are able to be used for that. uh, Here's another one: pedestal, statue, paintings, birdcage, quill, diary, bell, book, candle, fireplace, rug, armchair, curtains, vases, flowers, instruments, music sheets. And you can even subdivide many of these things. You don't have to have all of these things available instantly in one single room. You could pick and choose some of these when the players say, all right, there's 3 doors down the hallway. I'm going to go into the left door. What do I see? You see a counter, sink, and cabinets. All right, well, what's in the right door? There's a cook fire, there's pots, pans, utensils. And mind you, I didn't come up with this. I just read them from the prompt. All right, but we got to get ourselves, we like to roll some dice around here. So we're definitely going to add to this. So let's roll a die and add it to our mood. And roll a 4. So we've got abandoned or decrepit. So we're going to add that to our document. Abandoned or decrepit. Decrepit. Yeah, not very good. Okay, so that's our first mood of this. Is a little D6 table right on our left side of the page at the top left for our D6 roll. So we've got a mood of decrepit. Now we also have sights, sounds, and smells for impressions. So we're going to take ourselves, we're going to roll 3d6 and assign some randomly to our sight, sounds, and impressions. We rolled, what did we roll? 1, 6, and 4. We can use that in order. Let's do with a 1. Rain slick, oil slick. Rain slash oil slick. What else do we got? Rolled a 6. We've got bells, clock chimes, harbor horns. Ooh. Bells. Clock chimes. Chimes. Harbor. And is it harbor horns? And we could just feel what this. I'm getting the impression that I'm getting details that I haven't even typed out yet, like a full moon with thick clouds. The moon, clouds occluding the moon. I hear ships in the harbor blasting their horns, boo, boo, coming into or trying to navigate into a bay or something of that nature. I can hear a clock in the distance striking midnight and whatnot. And of course, you're adding all of these features. You're adding sights and sounds. So we have our sights, we have our sounds. What are our smells? Number 4, chemicals, distillates, and fumes. We've got a chemical. Got a chemical smells. Distillates. I'm sure I misspelled. Oh wow, and fumes. Maybe there's a chemical factory or a warehouse with chemicals in barrels, or there's some kind of the players could smell the direction of some alchemical processes being done. Maybe there's like this is Blades in the Dark, so there could definitely be a place that's using you know, dangerous chemicals to make a street drug or something of that nature. And mind you, mixing and matching these things, like I use the die rolls of 1, 6, and 4 in that order, but it wasn't necessary. I mean, I guess I could have picked 3 different looking dice and used those instead. Oops, where are you going there, die? And use them in any order. For example, I used the number 1 for our sights, but if I went to number 4 for sights, there's like fleeting shapes, echoes in the ghost field, something like that. Ghost field is in Blades in the Dark. Mike Maris says, I love Blades in the Dark. Yeah. And again, all of these little prompts are reinforcing what Blades in the Dark is about. You're not going to find dragons and orcs on here. You're not going to find butterflies and rainbows. This isn't what this game is about. And these random tables are designed to use that. And we all may have our impression of what a neo-victorian Blades in the Dark region is supposed to look like, but you know, most of us are going to be hard pressed to describe 8 different neighborhoods and all the buildings in them as the players navigate through this town. We have to have some way of differentiating what the place looks like and feels like, even on a daily basis. And this is random tables are a way for us to do that, especially on the fly when you're stuck and you have to come up with it. And the way Blades in the Dark is designed, it's designed for 0 prep. So you don't even have to come up with this stuff in the beginning. Of course, we have our tools here to help us so we can run a game with 0 prep, right? So we have Duskfall Streets. So we picked our mood, our impressions. So the next 3 categories are use, type, and details. So under use, we're going to roll a... Get out of here. We're going to roll ourselves... It's at an angle. Sorry about that, guys. Rolling a d6. I rolled a 4. And then, and we have to roll across as well. Roll another d6. 4 and 5. So we roll 4 vertically, and then we slide over to a number 5. Transportation. So this location, and this is perfect, right? Because we have ourselves harbor horns, clock chimes, harbor horns, things like that. So this location is for transportation. Maybe this is these are the docks, and there are wagons or maybe even steam powered carts or something like that that are used here for transporting, you know, ill-gotten gains and goods from one place to another. Loading and unloading of ships. And mind you, it doesn't say there's ships, but I still get that flavor, right? Like even a little bit of like fog or mist off of the surface of the water, things like that. Whatever. So okay, we got use. Now we have type. I'm going to use the red d6 to go vertical, and then the other one to go horizontal. So we roll a 2 and a 4. So the type rolled number 2, and we're going to slide over to number 4. Rough road, which makes sense, I think. Rough road, maybe because of salt and rain has made the cobblestone streets very rough. Maybe if the players are trying to sneak around, maybe you want to explain to them this could even be a foreshadow that running down these streets might be a little hazardous because there's a lot of slips, trips, and falls, or the wagon or cart or whatever that the players have or want to steal is going to make a lot of noise, or the chemicals that they want to put into a cart or wagon could be very unstable and start to spill out or fall off the cart because the roads are really rough. And this could very easily be a foreshadow. You know, you as the person running the game, narrator, storyteller, whatever, may keep that in the back of your head and go, you know what, if they try to have like a running like a chase, they need to know this. And this way, if you describe it to them, it's not going to be a bit of a surprise. Okay, and then lastly, we have details. Now, mind you, how many times do you roll on these tables? I don't know, whatever. Till you either find something that you like which, by the way, you don't even have to roll. You could just take a look at the tables and go, no, no, no. Ooh, that made me think about something. Yeah, I like that. Right. Um, like, let me see. Just right now, just taking a look at this, I see words like suspended, wide boulevard, private gated, um, elevated, things like that. And it would be pretty interesting if, like, the the goods and services that are being taken off of the good, not services, maybe just the goods taken off of these ships that are coming into the harbor, um you know, with the harbor horns and things like that, many of them might be suspended in the air on these elaborate cranes and whatnot, and they're not even coming down to the ground. They're just being hauled up into the air on cable lines or something, and then being lowered down maybe inside of a difficult to enter warehouse that's heavily guarded, and then the players may have to decide, okay, we're going to have to climb up the crane arms and then slide down the cable lines to get inside of this place. And then that just me from reading, my eye catching the word suspended made me think about that. Like suspended, I also saw the word elevated. I went, oh, maybe it can make this more interesting by making it vertical and giving the players that option. But lastly, we'll find details, and it's a D6 plus a D6, D6 vertical, D6 horizontal, and oh, double six. All right, shrine offerings. Ooh, shrine, that could, you know, we love ourselves cultists, don't we? The tabletop community, but not necessarily. It could be a Lovecraftian like shrine dedicated to some deep, you know, mind twisting horror of the deep kraken like with multiple eyes or whatever. And maybe people give offerings to this thing for safe travels on the open seas, when hunting those great beasts or whatever. You know, very often we have traditions where, you know, the classic shattering the bottle of champagne against the ship, and then naming that ship is very, I mean, it's still done to this day, and the same could be here. Or again, it could be story elemented, right? Like, I think I'm going to throw this detail in there and keep that detail in my back pocket because there might be cultists or something like that. Um, so yes, then we move on to, I can't see this. Can't see. Here we go. Duskfall buildings. Now, don't forgive my pronunciation of the Duskfall because it is also written down as the literal word dusk wall. So I'm presuming Duskfall is like a pseudo Nordic slash Russian-ish fake kind of a wording and whatnot in the game, and I think it's done, of course, on purpose. So Duskval is also Duskwall. All right, so we have exterior buildings during this black border here. We have a use that's common, and then use that's rare, and then details. So here we go. Let's roll ourselves a d6. It literally fell in its corner. Wow, that's rare. All right, d6, rolled a 6, and we have ourselves material, metal sheeting, and details. Let's roll again. Rolled a 2. Ironwork. Well, that fits together. Metal sheeting and ironwork. We'll just put down ironwork. Ironwork. Ironwork can be used to describe maybe how things are. So there might be ironworked gating. So the players might be able to easily see through the gates, but they would have to scale it or pick the locks or something like that. Maybe the players are thinking we're gonna bust through it with a old wooden wagon, and they realize they get there and they're like, oh, these are iron, you know, iron gates. They're not going to fall down just by us trying to push a wagon through it, or something like that. And again, something else that I love about randomized tables, especially if you hand the players the dice. Doesn't matter who rolls, right? Or if you're online using digital die rollers or whatnot. But I always thought it was fun to let the players roll so that when things become worse for them, or there's an element thrown in that's random that both tests me as the person running the game and the players, to surprise them, that I am not specifically choosing to make their life complicated. The dice have landed. This now becomes a real feature in the game, and now that their life has become complicated, I didn't decide that their wagon wouldn't really be able to bust through what they were thinking would be a wooden fence. Instead, there's iron worked gates, and it came about because of the die roll, right? Um, Basically, bringing about their own horror. Very, very OSR-ish. So let's go with our common use. Common use for building 4 and 6. So we can go 6 and 4, 4 and 6. We'll check both of them. So we'll go 6 and 4. Refinery. That makes perfect sense, although I might want to make it a little bit different. So let's go 4 and 6 bathhouse. Ooh, refinery, and then I want to put in parentheses bathhouse. Now, bathhouse doesn't fit, but that's actually a good thing because, in my mind, I'm thinking of ships coming in the harbor, um, workers loading and unloading cargo. There's a chemical smell. There's the fact that there's a refinery nearby, maybe a thing, but maybe a bathhouse is a criminal's hidden little area used for themselves. Maybe it's illegal because everything here in Blades in the Dark is illegal, but it could be something hidden away from even the other criminal elements, meaning like a crime lord may have their own bathhouse that's off, that's not public, it's a private one. And of course, they're not even handing over their money or letting anybody else know because this is their own little private thing. Now, the bathhouse doesn't necessarily have to have clean water in it. It could be out, this person could be crazy or mutated or something, that's like literally having a bathhouse of bathing in strange chemicals, and this could be part of this cultist thing with the shrine offerings and whatnot. But again, being every time we have really great random tables, it's designed to give us a creative spark. And I could delete all of this and just say, guess what? There's the docks, there's warehouses. Hey, players, you're here to steal something. Oh, by the way, the crime lord that takes over his place has a bathhouse. You know. Now we've got rare uses. We're going to roll 2d6 for vertical and horizontal. I rolled a 5 and a 2. We'll check both of those, and we'll go with 2 and 5. A clothier. Okay, that's a rare use, clothier, but we could still use that prompt. Or we can go 5 and 2, and that's temple. So we've got a clothier and or temple. And it says rare use. So does that mean on rare occasions it's used this way? Like maybe there is a religion that uses an empty section of a warehouse for their temples, and there's only maybe a dozen or so devotees, and they pay someone under the table just to use an empty part of the warehouse because no one's putting any goods in that warehouse and they still want to make some money. Clothier, maybe they make clothing that's specific to keep from being harmed by the chemicals that are being processed in the refinery in the first place. So it doesn't have to be high-end clothing, but a clothier could also be maybe someone has very valuable clothings of silks, and I'm trying to think of something that would be rare at this time. But anyway, this clothing could come from far distant regions of bright colors in this gray world, and they are brought from overseas, and they're very hideously expensive, like silks would probably be in this neo-Victorian time. And this individual It's just like, look, I just don't want my shit stolen. I need to hide it somewhere. And if I can put it in the back of this place that's smelly and stinky, just so I can keep it from, because no one's gonna think that these expensive this expensive material that comes from overseas is going to be here. And again, coming up with story ideas. And this is just Blades in the Dark rolling some random dice. Going to listen while I head to the floor mattress. But it sounds like I'm complaining my life is better than ever. Well, good. That's awesome. Off topic, found the clove of garlic I thought I didn't get from the grocery store. Clean and clean, and yet my place is still a hot mess. I hear you on that one. Have a great night. Yeah, as well, depending on what side of the world you're on. Lastly, let's go get some details. D6 vertical, D6 horizontal. We're gonna roll 6 and a 4. Roll some D6 dice. 6 and a 4. Let's go with 6 over to 4. A piled jumble of curios. Let's write both of these down. Jumble of curios, and 4 and 6, a cellar. All right. So here, wrote down all the prompts that I might want to use for this particular adventure, or the players make a left turn and I wasn't expecting it, so I rolled a bunch of D6s to try to write some things down, because I know they're going into a part of the city that I haven't even thought of and haven't prepped yet. And so, I do my BRB, I type it in, I go to the bathroom, and I'm like, D6s, roll, 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 real quick or something. And that would help us out. Jumble of curios. A jumble of curios could be from things that the sailors, the crew, gathered on their long voyage and brought back with them, and they just you know, dumped it out their pockets. Maybe this is a place where pickpockets have come and they just dump it down into a pile, and they're literally like maybe drinking their sorrows away, or they're going to come back for it. Maybe the PCs found this stuff. And again, all of this is just basically prompts, like I said before, prompting us to become create stories and whatnot. And all of these prompts in this book, at the end of the page 300 and on, the Blades in the Dark reinforce the themes of it. And you can make up your own tables if you want to, for different types of rarities and what am I trying to think? Bell curves and things like that. And I'll even let your players even see it if you really want to. Who cares? And just say, hey guys, guess what? You're going to roll some dice. The higher you roll, the worse it's going to be. So you want to look, or it could be the opposite. It could be low. Like all the things I've written on my tables on the low end, 1s, 2s, and 3s, are going to be pretty horrible. But you roll high, 6, 7, 8s, or 10s, or whatever kind of dice you decide to use. You could say it's going to be more beneficial to you. And if you wanted to make it even more mechanical, you could have randomized elements happen in your world, and the players may acquire some kind of moxie, inspiration, a reroll, like an advantage, disadvantage kind of thing, that when they earn it, that means that they get to re-roll or pick a number or something that's more beneficial to them. Even if they don't know what's on the list, they can say, listen, I rolled a 2 and a 6. Hey guys, let's just go with the 6, because I know the 2 is probably going to be worse for us. And if they get to choose that or add a modifier to it, that used to be a big thing in many of the Dungeons and Dragons random tables, that you would add numbers to it so that you would go higher and higher on the tables, and those would get worse. So if you rolled a D6 on the same table, that you could roll a D10 and a D12 and a D20, from 1 through 4, 1 through 6 might be lower level or might be safer. But then if you had to end up picking up the D12, that meant you have an even greater number of options, but those higher numbered options would be harmful. If you rolled a D4, you could never roll above a 4. And so you wouldn't get those nasty ones. But if you end up rolling a D20 and you roll a 17, You're like, uh-oh. Sounds extra planar and demonic to me. You know. Um, Again, we also have um, on the side in our not breakout box, but to the left in the border, we do have things like this is all about people, and we've got heritage, foreigners, style, and then just a whole list of prompts. So under heritage, we're going to roll d6, and number 3, they are Akorasi, Akorosi. Akorasi? I like Akorasi. So we're gonna title this people. Let's do it like this: bold and underline, uh, people, and then we're gonna put this. They are. Come on, Jackson. Now in the game, do I know what Akorosi means? I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. Although maybe even the players don't understand, so you could make it up. Because it either says Akorasi or foreigner, which means they must be local. So I'm going to put local. Otherwise they would be a foreigner. What does foreigner mean? I don't know. Um, Foreigners, it tells you where they're from, and then style. And there's no numbered list on here, but these are. But again, this reinforces everything. Tricorn hat, long coat, hood and veil, short cloak, knit cap, slim jacket, hooded coat, tall boots, man, suit and vest, rough tunic, skirt and blouse, fitted dress, heavy cloak, thick great great coat, loose silks, sharp trousers, waxed coat, eel-skin bodysuit, hide and furs, heavy gloves, wheelchair, cane, face mask, etc., etc., etc. So I love a long coat. Let's pick some long coat. Um, Long coat, short cloak, mask and veil. What's some long scarf. And we don't need to put all of these things on one person when describing one or more of these NPCs. We can add these elements as we see fit and just mark them off. Like, oh, the first person he meets got a long coat on. Second person he meets got a short cloak. You know, and of course, with the weather, we can describe like why are they wearing such a thing. Um, all right, looks. Let's roll a d6. Number 2, it's a man. We at the top we have a man, woman, ambiguous or concealed, and roll again. So we have ourselves a male, and let's get some more details in here. We're going to roll 2d6. I rolled a 3 and a 6. This is a vertical horizontal table. I like these because you can get what is it, up to 36 different options in a small area, small cube, um, brick. So we're going to go either look for 3 and 6 or 6 and 3. So 3 and then move over to 6 is striking, or we can use both. And 6 and 3, prosthetic crippled. I like prosthetic. And question mark, prosthetic what? Arm, leg, eye, nose. Don't know, but an artificial something. sounds kind of weird. Let's go with the arm. Prosthetic arm. Goals. What does this person have? Again, D6 vertical and horizontal. Come on, dice. It's at an angle. You can't see it on the camera. 2 and 1. So we're going to go with 2 and 1 or 1 and 2. Wealth or power? Let's see. Goals. Wealth, power. Um, both similar, but wealth you can pay somebody off maybe if this is a lowly person. Power, they're looking to manipulate other things. They want to have the power to do something else. So, uh, so depending, they could be very mercenary, or they have a greater. They want to use the money for a greater purpose. Preferred methods. Again, vertical and horizontal list. We've got a 4 and a 3, so we'll check both of these. Preferred method, 3 over to 4 is hard work, or 4 over to 3 is commerce. Commerce. I'm sorry. Here, let's do it. Let's go here. Let's bolt this out, and then goals, wealth, and power. And oops, we will go with methods. Commerce. My fingers. Sorry. Commerce. And what's the other one? Hard work. Maybe this person is like a unionized person. Like they have a prosthetic arm, injured in their taking goods back and forth. Maybe they were overlooked, or because of their injury they couldn't work anymore. And they were hoping that they would get some kind of benefit from it, but the person that hired them was like, "F you, get out of here, you're in my way." So, but maybe this person has been walking the streets talking to the longshoremen and this person respects hard work and they respect this person. Maybe that prosthetic arm makes this individual striking with their long coat or whatever, and they're local. And yes, they're getting a lot of wealth because people give them coin. The locals, the longshoreman gives this person coin, who then uses it to pay for the losses as some of the longshoremen struggle with their life. So then he gains power because he's not holding the money for himself. He's actually using it to garner influence with some of these workers. Again, using prompts to world build for this individual. And this individual could be spread out to be larger. Maybe there's a union leader, but there's also these other people who, somebody in a short cloak, maybe a person in a mask and veil, maybe a young lady with a long scarf or something like that. And they all have like a similar look to them. And they are here to recruit even more longshoremen to their cause. And because they've put in the work, maybe they are respected. Lastly, we've got professions, common professions and rare professions. All right, here we go. Rolling the dice. 3 and 4. Again, we're gonna switch up the numbers. So we're gonna go 3 over to 4, which is a fishmonger, and we're gonna go to 4 over to 3, merchant and fishmonger. Okay. Let's see. Vocations. Fishmonger and what did I say? Merchant. Makes perfect sense. Okay. Maybe the fishmonger is the person. They are local and they gather as the ships come in that are filled with fish. They're getting the fish off of the ships, and then this gives them the opportunity to talk to a lot of people. But maybe they smell a little funny. Maybe they do smell fishy. They are fishy and they smell like fish, which could also be their symbol. Maybe they wear a nondescript, but if the players put the information together, maybe they wear a badge or they're tattooed or something with this specific type of fish that comes off of these ships because they're fishmongers and whatnot. And being a merchant, of course, is perfect. And then lastly, rare professions. They don't have to have rare professions, but if you're going to bother naming some NPCs, why not? I rolled a 6 and a 2, or we can do a 2 and a 6. So let's go with 6 and 2. Spirit Warden. Let's see. Rare work. Spirit Warden. And let's go with the other thing. 2 and 6. Glass Blower. Glass Blower. All right, so rare profession, Spirit Warden and Glass Blower. For those who are not familiar with Blades in the Dark, the game has a built-in barrier of exploration, so you cannot leave the world of Duskwall and the Blades in the Dark because there's something known as the ectoplasmic region. So when someone dies, they don't die and their spirit disappears. Their spirit still lasts, and there's walls built around Duskwall or Duskwall, and those walls keep out the evil spirits. And someone being a spirit warden could be someone that's on the ships that protects them from the evil spirits, wild, harmed spirits that are ravaged because of they are just pure emotional hatred, maybe because so many people die violently. And glass blower, maybe there's someone who is a glass blower that works in this region that maybe knows about what's going on but doesn't say anything. Or maybe it could be that the glass blower is related to, or is betrothed to, or in a relationship with, or something, one or more of the NPCs we're talking about. And then lastly, what we have here are traits. Let's see if I can get, I doubt it's going to show up for everyone. Shice's longshoremen go on strike forever and the whole kingdom starves. Why the hell not? Right? I mean, maybe that's what this person is trying to do, right? Like, and they don't necessarily have to do this for the good of the people. This person might be just saying, listen, if I can get them to unionize and then go on strike, which starts to starve this place, then that means they're going to have to capitulate to my demands for power and money and things like that, right? And that's a pretty great villain, because on one hand, a villain, how to explain this? They are villainous in that they're trying to manipulate people to do what they want, but they could be doing this for a good reason. Or maybe this individual started out with a good reason. I'm thinking of the animated show Arcane, right? Maybe this person initially was like, we want better working conditions and we want better for our families. And this person realized, you know what? This is not getting me anywhere. But if I can manipulate things, and I know there's hey, can't make lemonade without like slicing open some lemons, right? I know it's normally talked about with eggs, right? And this person's thinking, yeah, I can't get the power that I need unless I manipulate everybody to do what I want, and whatnot. So lastly, for this episode anyway, we also have ourselves a table. It is a D6 table, basically meaning that you roll 2d6s and you roll them as if you were reading them like percentile dice. So we are going to roll some dice, and I rolled a 1 and a 4. So we can take that as 14 or 41, and we're going to just read that straight. We're going to read that across. We have ourselves traits. The middle column are interests, and then there's quirks. So 14, we've got brash. We have interests of fine arts, opera, and theater. And then we have holds their position to spy for another faction. All right, here we go. Let's get rid of glass blower just for right now. Let's see, we've got traits. Brash. Let's see, and 41. Patient. Patient sounds better than brash, I think, in this context. Unless we have multiple people working, maybe this longshoreman has a cousin or a girlfriend or a sister or something. And here we have interests. And under 14 we have fine arts, opera, theater, opera and theater, which is great. Great opportunity for the players to corner this person. But we also have under 41 hunting and shooting. Hunting, don't know. Shooting in Blades in the Dark, sure. Okay, all right. Strange, but all right. I'll go with it. I'll go with it. And what else do we have? Quirks under 14 holds their position to spy for another faction, or black sheep, outcast from family or organization. And I like that. Let's see, quirks. Black sheep, cast out of family or organization. And I like that because maybe there's a deep-seated desire to get back with the family, and the family doesn't need, I mean, it could be a criminal family, it could be biological family. This person may have come from a noble style heritage, and if the players can reunite them with this, or maybe they, by suffering the loss of their arm, it was looked at like it could be horrible, but it could be prejudicial that they're not given that much honor. They're like, well, you're not part of our family anymore. And it's like, dude, really? I just lost my arm. It's not like I lost my brain and did something to you. But whatever the case may be, maybe they are trying to scrape themselves back up to the top by becoming this union leader. And like I said, I'm saying union, but what is unionization in a world where unionization doesn't exist? Is that a concept that they would accept or understand, or maybe it takes the place of something different? So anyway, lastly, again, Blades in the Dark, randomization. We have ourselves here a list of names down. I don't even know if you can even see what I'm pointing at. Sorry. To the right, we have a list of names, and that list of names is just basically, listen. We all know when we run games, players always like to ask the names of the NPCs. To have yourselves a random list of names is always great. We have the first chunk right above page 303. We have a bunch of names. There's no way you're going to be able to read these because even here in this printing, it's got to be like 0.6, maybe 0.8. So we've got like names. We have ourselves below that we've got like family names, and then below that we have aliases. And love ourselves some aliases, right? None of these are numbered, but again, they're prompts. Aliases like Bell, Birch, Bug, maybe Cross, Crow, Echo. How about Hammer or Junker? Mist, Moon, Nail, Needle. How about Silver, Skinner? Song, TikTok, 12s, Vixen, Whip, Wicker, and it goes on. And for those that love themselves some Blades in the Dark when it comes to the sorry, I'm trying to get this. There we go. Sorry, trying to get the camera to move it. For those that love the more arcane elements of Blades in the Dark, we do have ourselves devils. Mind you, their concept of devils is quite a bit different than we think of in classic Dungeons and Dragons or something, but it is similarly done. D6 tables, prompts on the side, summonings and forgotten gods, cult practices. You got to have ourselves some cults that we have to be scared of, and so on and so forth. So love ourselves some tabletop random tables to use for prompts. This is just an example of working through uh, a ton of prompts for Blades in the Dark. By the way, this only took place over four pages, and it's chock full of information to again reinforce the theme. You don't have to play Blades in the Dark, but my point is these kind of elements, whether they are just prompts, whether there's a random table, whether you complicate your random table by just having, like, is it just a simple high number to low? Is it a quadrant table that you roll like vertically and horizontally to find something in the middle? However you want to do your bell curve tables or whatnot. Does it reinforce the themes of your game world? And write those things down. And today I may be very creative. 5 days from now, I don't know what's going to happen. So if we write these things down, the reason for doing it that way is so that we don't forget. It's so that we are prompted, and we don't have to use it immediately. We just keep it in our back pocket and leave it as notes. And that's what the random tables are for. It's to go, yeah, players made a left turn. I wasn't expecting them to go to this particular neighborhood. Let me roll up or find some random elements here. And like I said, do you have to roll? No. You could go through your notes and go, it's my third 5x8 card in my stack. Let me go grab that card. There's 6 notations on it. I only really need to use the first one because the players, all they wanted to do is buy some high-end alcohol. I thought they were trying to go here to assassinate someone. Oh, well, remember, all unused prep is improv fuel. When some people say, how do you prep for improv? I would say yes. All unused prep is improv fuel. So you can prep 10 locations, but if you never use it, you never introduce it, that's just fuel for your improv for any other session that fits in within that game world. And random tables basically are bullet points for how to describe your world. So if I can visit the accursed desert one more time, I could write down scorpion, mounted scorpion raiders, quicksand, salt flats, dust devils, sandstorms, camel riders, blue dragon, sphinx, uncovered monument or crypt or something. And I don't know whether these are going to be adventures, but I can put them on a random table and let the players roll, and it'll surprise me and them. And I was the one that created it, so it's my table. I don't know what I want them to encounter, but I know that I created it, and so therefore it's not, no matter what's rolled, it's not going to surprise me. The surprise is, oh, they rolled blue dragon. Okay, let's see what happens. And then of course what we do not want to do is railroad our players. Blue dragon could just fly overhead, and the PCs are like, what? I wasn't expecting that. And you may describe the blue dragon flying through what's the heat storm where you see like the lightning and the thunder, the lightning strikes and the thunder in the clouds, but there's no rain or something like that. Yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. I hope you get a different outlook on random tables and their purpose, how they're used, whether it's for prep. You basically have a Google Doc or a notebook and start writing some things down. Now, mind you, again, yes, I specifically typed out some things, but you saw me change it. You saw me ignore it. I rolled some dice. It was like, I rolled a 39. Maybe I'll make it a 93 or whatever. Yes, of course, because the whole purpose of random tables is to be creative. It's not to abide by them, never change anything. I've got to fold my arms and pout because I'm upset that I got a result that didn't fit I'm like, I'm gonna change that shit, you know. But I like these other things, and of course, as I started rolling in my mind, I'm already being creative, already being influenced by this makes sense. Oh, I'm going to make a union leader. Oh, I'm going to make this the bad guy, uh, and so on and so forth. And then I can go back through the beginning of my notes and go, does the union leader even know there's a cult hanging around here? Do they know that there's like a hidden stash of like a clothier? Does the union leader even know about like the chemicals that are being brought in? Maybe everybody knows about it, right? So yeah. Shai says it's been a good week for randomization. Can't wait to see your random table for Obsidian. Yeah. Let's see if I can find one. Matter of fact, you know what? Take us out. Let me go see. Let me go find one. Let's see. Obsidian Star. Sorry, guys. This is who is she? She's a Martian, by the way. Character creation, people, places, and things. Let me get. What's a good table here? Baggage. No. All right. Yeah. We'll settle on this one. Sorry. Let's get rid of this, shall we? Let's get rid of this one. So yeah, this is a sorry. Before we take us out, this is thank you there, Hunt. This is a 36 brick. I don't know what to call it. I'm just calling it bricks. It's basically a brick of information. You roll a d6 down, d6 across, and this just happens to be a random table of win conditions. So far too often in tabletop gaming, it's basically kill or be killed. Bad guys, monster, whatever turns the corner, PCs are there, they want to roll initiative, you just want to start fighting and see who wins. Not an Obsidian Star, or rather not preferably an Obsidian Star. Instead, we want to choose what the goal is. And when the numbers reach 0, when the numbers go down, you get closer to achieving your objective or win condition. The win condition doesn't mean that you're dead. It means you get that win condition. If the player's numbers go down to 0, it doesn't mean they're dead. It means that they have the loss condition. So that condition could be anything. So for example, if the players are trying to escape a dome hab on the moon, on Luna, and the guards are going after them, if the guards win, it doesn't mean that they shot the characters dead. It means that they got captured. So we have our general list of like combat objectives, social objectives, and tech objectives. And there's things like spot motive, right? Maybe all the players really want is to spot the motive of the bad guy. And so that difficulty might be, let's say, a 3. So if they can get that 3 down to 0, they can spot the motive of the bad guy that's at the dinner theater or something. For tech, it could be something like reprogramming, downloading, broadcasting, corrupting information, or inserting data or erase entry to whatever the player characters are trying to do. So if the players are trying to hack into a data system or something like that, the win condition is to exchange the good information for the bad information, right? In combat, it might be to evade or outlast or reinforce or rescue or find a weak point or predict what the enemy is going to do. And again, for example, let's go with decoy, right? Maybe the players, the purpose is not to destroy the enemy. Maybe the purpose is to get them busy enough to ignore something else that's going on. Maybe another player is doing the tech part, the corrupting info, inserting data, erasing entry, exchanging, downloading. What the player's purpose is, we need to be a decoy for the guards in this hab so that they don't see something else. We don't want the guards to be dead because they're just going to send more guards and be suspicious. No, we want to complicate and absorb their resources. We want to be a decoy. It could be a chase, or they could surround an enemy, or they may even, maybe you're just trying to blend in. And then there's the opposite as well for the players. Are they captured? Are they interrogated? Are they exiled? Are their memories erased or something like that? And that's the win. That could be the win-loss conditions. So that's a kind of table. I think I've got some other tables in here. Armor, accessories, free accessories, and tech assets. Free accessories are things that are like you normally see that you can place inside like your armor. Armor comes in 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3. That's how many spaces are in the armor. And free items don't take up any space. So things like mag boots, cable lines, re-entry parachutes or glider wings or jump jets, SOS beacons or gear mounts, or a stasis med dock or biomonitors or airbags on your spacesuit, they're just free. Like a bubble expander for a spacesuit is a mechanism that allows your spacesuit to turn into a bubble, and you're on the inside of it. So like let's say you broke your leg and you need to set your leg, maybe you can't do it on the outside of your spacesuit, but if you turn it into a bubble, you could then, treat the wound and then unbubble your spacesuit back down to your skin, essentially. And then there's like tech assets and things like that over here for like for armor, lead shielding. Maybe I should put periods between this. No. Period. Lead shielding for radiation, radar dampers, thermal cloaks, nano repair system, hush fields, Faraday grounding, chem-haz sealant, things like that, radar diffractors, hollow cloaks, ablative plates, blah blah blah, prism reflect, things like that. So these are some random tables, but there's even, see if I have some more flavorful ones. Here's my last one. These are some names of space halves or orbital stations, and these are all names of science fiction and fantasy authors. So I thought that would be kind of fun. Let's go to the John Williams Station, or the Burroughs, or the Asimov, or the Niven, the Orwell, the Poor Neil, the Zelazny, the Heinlein, Spinrad. Yeah. I think Doctorow, the Effinger. There's Moorcock in here, Kafka, Leiber. There's a bunch of them. Randy is even in here. Vonnegut, the Gibson. Got to have Gibson in here. Gibson. There's also a Wells. So yeah, I just thought it'd be kind of fun to have like a science fiction and fantasy writers. Mostly science fiction, but there's some fantasy in there. Yeah, keep them busy with BS so they sound familiar. Yeah. Which reminds me, political season. Anyway, guys, have a great weekend. Everybody have a great one. I don't know what we're going to do next week, but we'll come up with something. I'm sure there are people who left plenty of comments in the comment section, which I don't know why I don't get the notifications. So I'll check that out. But anyway, guys, have a great one. I will see thee later. Peace and tranquility. Bye.